Good evening. Welcome to One Way Ministries of New Jersey. Pastor David LaTorre welcoming you on this wonderful New Year's Day Eve. I hope you guys have had a wonderful celebration of New Year's last night, New Year's Eve, and then today, New Year's Day. We are going to continue this evening on this wonderful New Year's evening with part two of our New Year's message. I started part one on Sunday, this past Sunday, from Job chapter 8, with Bildad talking to Job from chapter 8, verses 5 to 7. And then today we're going to continue this series, just this one-off. We're done, and then we'll get back into this Sunday, we will get back into James, the book of James, chapter 1, verse 26, as we bring closure to that amazing series. And then the following week, we will continue with our conversation from Isaiah 33 regarding who is it that is secure in God. And so we will continue on to our regular series after Christmas and now New Year's. But this evening, we're going to be talking about or teaching from Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 and verses 19. So Isaiah 43, verse 18 and 19, where Isaiah makes it very clear we are not to be focused on our past, but we are to look for the new things that God is doing. And how do we do that? We look ahead. And that's what we're going to look forward to in 2025. Wow, it's amazing. Looking forward to what God is going to do in this incredible new year. So again, Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. And then this, again, reminding you this upcoming Sunday, we will get back into James chapter 1. So I'm going to read them for you. They're the first part of verse 18 and the first part of verse 19 of Isaiah chapter 43. Isaiah says, "Do not remember the former things." Don't focus on the past. Look ahead, he says, verse 19, first half. "Behold," God says, "I will do a new thing now, and it shall spring forth." So God's new thing is going to take place. Whatever God does and intends, it happens. So again, first, but it all starts with not remembering the former things. Now, as I said on Sunday, the past, when I was teaching from Job 8, the past, right? It's the rear view mirror. You look at it from a reference standpoint. This is where you were. This is what happened. This is behind me. It's a reference point, not something that becomes front and center. Too many people are living in the past. The problem, and it's scriptural, about the past is you can't do anything to change it. You need to change it in the present and then going ahead into the future. So again, Isaiah warns us, do not remember the former things. To remember is to mark. To remember, this form in Hebraic, is to mark so as to be recognized. Don't mark your past so as you are to recognize it now. It says to be mindful of. We're not to be mindful of our past. Bringing something to mind, affecting. Listen to this. This is the wonderful translation of this word in the Hebraic. Bringing something to mind, affecting present thoughts, feelings, and actions. So it's importing the ugliness that might have happened in your past, things of the past, importing them into your present so that they affect your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. That's dangerous. God doesn't want us doing that. Do not remember the former things. Former things are things of old, the past, prior times, prior years. Doesn't have to be back in your early beginning years, your childhood years. Could be something that happened relatively recently, but again, it's in your past, right? We're not to remember them. We are not to be mindful of the things to bringing them into our future. Into our present, and the way our thoughts, feelings, and actions. So that's number one. You can't do that. Why? Because verse 19, Isaiah recounts God saying, again, he's prophesying on behalf of God, "Behold, I will do a new thing now. It shall spring forth." The reason the past is gone is, again, because we can't change it. We can remember it in the sense of where we were and with respect to where we are today, or where we plan on being in the future. It is a reference point. It is not something to be grabbed hold of and pondered and stewed and something that we mark so that we recognize it again and again. Behold, the word behold is an interjection to draw attention to something significant. To draw attention to something significant. What's significant? Forget the past, so that God's going to do a new thing and it shall spring forth. Behold is to pay attention to what follows. Behold, I, God, will do, accomplish, create, execute, advance a new thing. And he says now. If we didn't get it, I'm going to do a new thing now. The future. I'm going to do it now. The new thing is a fresh, renewed, recently made. So it means fresh, renewed, recently made, new beginnings, or a fresh start. That's what 2025 is going to represent to so many of us. I don't care if it's problems associated with your health, with your relationships, your marriages, your kids. It doesn't matter. Finances, right? Your spheres of influence, work, it doesn't matter. Those are things of the past that we are not to remember. We are not to bring them into our present, so that we can focus on the new beginnings and the fresh start that God is going to take us into. He says, I will do of certainty, it's going to happen, a new thing now, in the present moment. But if we are so focused and so committed to what's happened in our past, and it's right there in front of us, we can't see through it to see what the new thing that God is doing. You like that? I'm just kind of playing. We can't see through our past to understand, to see, to recognize what God is doing in terms of our future, our new thing right here and now. And then he goes on and he says, it shall spring forth. It shall, of certainty. I will do of certainty, and it shall of certainty spring forth. The word spring forth is translated to sprout and grow. It's not just to start it. It is to sprout it and then grow it. God is not into just kind of starting things and leaving them there and letting them do whatever. He sprouts and grows things. He sprouts them. He births them. Then he allows them. He helps them to grow. It is something emerging, coming forth, and developing. That's what he's bringing. He's bringing something that is going to emerge, come forth, and develop. Period. It's going to happen. What God says and intends, he makes it happen. But again, if you're focused and riveted on the past, right? And if you're bringing something, your past, to mind that affects your present thoughts, feelings, and actions, you can't be focused on what God is doing now. That is so much of the problem for many, many of us. We have a hard time letting go of what was so that we can bring about what is and what is coming. That's this whole thing. So 2024, or maybe it happened 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. Whatever has happened, you need to forget about it. You can't remember. Or, you can't be focused on what happened because, as I said, in your past, you cannot change it. You can remember it in the sense of where you were, what you went through, the condition you were, past tense, in, so that you can see where you are and where you are going. If you are so focused on what's happened in your rearview mirror, you will not see what's happening ahead of you. That's a problem for many of us. So let's look at 2025 as that fresh start, that new beginning. But it has to start with forgetting, not remembering, releasing, letting go, forgetting about what's happened, so that you can bring in, you can focus on what God is doing. Behold, I will do, it's going to take place. I am going to accomplish a new thing. Fresh, recently made, fresh start, new beginnings, right? I'm going to do that now so that you can experience it in the present, and it shall spring forth. It shall be birthed, and I will help it to grow, this new thing, whatever it is, right? Sometimes it's not just praying for, health or finances or things, the situations that we're in. As I said last Sunday, sometimes it's praying for breakthrough, for something more, right? Like we're doing okay now, but we want more. So sometimes we need to focus not just on what we have and where we are, but we need to focus on the new thing God is creating, the bigger thing. Again, there's always so much more of God. And so if we're satisfied with how we know him now, or the relationship we have with him now, we're not going to bring into our present situation the new things that he's doing. Right? So again, let this verse be our harbinger of what's to come in 2025. Don't focus on what's happened, the former things, because God is doing a new thing now. It's going to happen, and he's going to let it spring forth. Not just birth it, but he's going to allow it to grow. That's just that. Think about the goodness of God in that, right? So again, Isaiah 43 verses 18 and 19. Don't remember the former things. Behold, I, God, will be doing a new thing now, and it shall spring forth. It shall be birthed, and it will be growing. Okay, I will help it to sprout. I will birth it, and then I will allow it to grow. So as we embark upon 2025, let's look at the past and in terms of a reference point of where we were, what happened, and then let's focus on 2025 in terms of where we're going. Live in the present. Don't bring your past into your present, so that you can live in the present and bring forth, focus on, look to, behold the new thing that God is doing. That's 2025. Let's just be expectantly excited and hopeful about what 2025 is going to bring. So again, I hope you have had a wonderful New Year's Eve celebration and had a great New Year's Day. And just know how much Barb and I love you and appreciate you and thank you. We are just so grateful for you in our lives. Also remember, next Sunday, until we get together on Sunday, 10:30 Eastern time, we're going to be picking back up in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 25. I'm sorry, verse 26. We finished 25. We're in James chapter 1, verse 26. Looking forward to hanging out with you on Sunday morning, 10:30 Eastern time. Until then, Barb and I just want to say we love you, we appreciate you, we thank you, and have a great, great remainder of your New Year's celebration, and just be excited about 2025. Thanks, and have a great night.